And without being able to score around there, it just couldn't open anything up. It's almost like they were kind of allowing us to get in there and miss. And their length around the rim, they kept some bigger lineups on the court, maybe more than we thought, or kept their fives on the court quite a bit. And their fives just bothered us at the rim. We like I said, I'm 6 missed layups off the top of my head. And without being able for those to go down or get to the free throw line, now we're relying on trying to make shots, and that's just something we've never been, great at ourselves.
3-point defense, obviously, been a problem at times this year. They seem to come up with a big one at every key moment.
Yeah.
What were you guys doing defending the three that wasn't working because they still ended up with 13?
Yeah, Meeks hasn't made one in a while. He was terrific tonight. Lindsey Drew. It's almost like just the next man up for them. Those 3 guards are electric, and to have those 3 guards, when one maybe isn't making one, even if it's for a stretch, to have another guy and another guy, just those 3 are just tremendous weapons. And I think they showed it tonight, Drew in particular, for him to just dribble down and kind of pull up and make threes like that. Our percentages of him off the dribble this year are below 10%. So for him to kind of step up and make those are just big-time shots by a very big-time player.
You guys are getting points in the second half, getting the lead down to 8, then down to 7 at certain points. Couldn't get beyond that in the second half. What was the biggest reason for just not being able to break?
I felt like Geoff said, they just came down and made some really big shots. I thought like we were just chipping away and trying and working our way back, and we were earning everything we got. And then they just come down and make a talent play. They just come down and make a great play, and you're like, gosh, like we just worked so hard, and they can just come down and make a shot like that. It's impressive. And like I said, Harris is. I said on the radio for the game. He's a player of the year type player, and when it starts there, and then you surround him with the other guys, it's a very, very good perimeter team for sure.
This crowd wanted to explode, and why he was ready for this game. How frustrating, from your perspective, is it to not give them that chance?
I know, and we were trying. Like I said, and I'll go back and watch the film. They just, every time we seemed like we were on the verge, somebody stepped up on their team and made a big shot. And you have to give them credit for being able to go on the road and shoot that way and make those kind of big shots. Terrific.
It happens in basketball. Sometimes you just miss shots. Do you think a lot of that just was happening for you tonight? Especially Jaquan, a couple just in and out, and especially down the stretch. Yeah, that was a big part too.
For sure, yeah. Unfortunately, our 2-point percentage, offense and defense, has plummeted. It's the smallest team I've ever had here. We're trying to continue to have good offensive rhythm and play inside out. But unfortunately, everything around the rim right now is the layups are going in against us, and the layups aren't falling for us. And unfortunately, a little bit, that's your size. You just don't have quite the same length that some of these other guys do. And we just got to keep practicing and keep working at it.
Coach, there were a couple of plays early in the game, guys got fired up. I think one of them, Corey, might have flexed or something. And it seemed like you were trying to keep the guys level-headed, or maybe not let them show too much emotion. Was that something you had planned coming into the game?
Not really. Nothing we specifically talked about. We've tried to just keep our heads and play more disciplined basketball overall. And I thought tonight we did a little bit of a better job. But at the end of the day, if the layups aren't kind of going in, it's hard. It's hard to kind of get your energy going when you get to the basket and you miss the layup, and then the guy gets the rebound and you miss the layups. It's defeating no matter how much you're trying to kind of create that energy. And I think early on, obviously that hadn't quite set in yet, but as the time went on, it was just we were trying and the kids were trying. We just couldn't quite break through.
Was that in response to anything from the last game?
No, like I said, I don't think it was anything specific. We're obviously always working on being a better version of ourselves, but I don't think it was anything direct.
Paul, Jaquan not necessarily in lineup, was that basketball related or something else?
I'll leave that between me and him.
Jared, Geoff.
And then, obviously, where's your team at right now? Where do you think they are mentally? And with only a few games left in the season, what can you take from this one and hopefully bounce right back on Sunday?
Yeah, I felt great about our team. Even I know people had said a lot of things about us when some games got away from us in a stretch and things like that. But every time out I came into, every huddle we had, every engagement we had, I felt really, really good. The last game at UNLV was the first time I didn't feel great. I felt like, what's going on here? And I think Geoff alluded to it in his post-game presser, asking about where's our confidence at and things like that. And all I'm going to try and do from that game till the end of the season is pump these guys full of as much optimism and enthusiasm I can, because if it is, we've got to stop it, and we've got to get back to believing we still can do something. You know, it's been a crushing couple of months for a lot of different reasons, but all we can do right now is take the hand we have and just play it as best we can.
Last question for Coach.
Paul, I know the basketball game is what you were concentrating on, but there were 12,000 fans here tonight, and the story that a lot of people came to see had to do with the two guys on the other bench. And I'd
Yeah.
be remiss, I think we'd all be remiss if we didn't ask you, what did you think of the reception when they came down that pit ramp? And what did you think about the reception overall to two guys you used to work with and the two predecessors to you as Lobo basketball coach?
Yeah, I think I said it on the radio pregame show. When I went to New Mexico State for the first time, or even actually since that time, I've got hundreds of friends, faculty members, ex-players, people in the community, and they're your greatest friends. They're your greatest friends right up until the game, and then after the game, they're back to your greatest friends. But in the middle of that game, they'll openly tell me, like, Coach, I love you to death, but you're gonna hear me for the next 2 hours or whatever it happens to be. And I felt that it was probably something similar. I think everyone appreciates Steve and Craig for everything they did here. They had one of the greatest stretches in Lobo basketball. I think I've said it before. They've set the bar incredibly high here for themselves and now for me kind of coming afterwards. And I think we should all, appreciate and respect that. But when the ball, goes up, now it becomes, the Lobos. And I think the fans, it seemed to me anyways, that was kind of their attitude as well.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
All right, couple questions for Keith, and then I do have confirmation that Coach Alford will be in afterwards. All right, Keith McGee, 11 points, 5 rebounds, 4 for 13. Geoff, go ahead.
Keith, you get to start playing with some energy, hit some threes. Why were things working for you on the offensive side of this?
I'm gonna be honest with you, Joe. I don't think things really was working for me. I missed a lot of shots. I'm a little upset about it, but it's just go back in the gym and work on it. But I felt like that's where I messed up at. Being one of the shooters on the team, it definitely is my job to knock down shots. So I missed a lot of those today.
Do you think it was a shot selection issue then?
I think it was just the ball, just how the ball was coming off of my hand. Not putting enough spin or overshooting it. It was just one of those nights.
Well, if it's one of those nights, I guess at what point do you have to maybe change things up, or is it didn't
shoot
feel
or shoot?
Shoot or shoot?
You just keep shooting, and you just decide your teammates. Like our teammates, like that's why I love my teammates. They just kept telling me keep shooting, bro. Next one I'm going. It was just one of those nights.
What was making it tough in the second half for you guys to break through getting it down at 8, getting it down to 7?
I think it's like Coach said, like it's like whenever we would get it right there, they'll just come down there and hit a tough shot. Like dudes pulling up off the dribble, or it's like it'll be a possession where we really just worked hard on defense and they still made the shot. They was hitting them. They was making a lot of shots. Definitely killed us.
You guys had a hard time stopping them twice in a row to make a run at them. They would counter what you did and then couldn't stop them to make that run. And late in the game when you needed that, I think the crowd did too. Are your Lobos, are you guys losing your mental toughness?
I wouldn't necessarily say that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I really think it is. I think sometimes, like, yes, they had their run. They was hitting their shots, but us as players, we get beat up, and if a few more calls could be made, very much appreciate that.
You guys have had a lot of up and downs this season, tough stretch here. Where you guys at, just as a team right now, man?
We just trying to get better, honestly. I mean, we know it's a few weeks left, but the tournament, you just win 3 games and anything can happen. Anything can happen. So we definitely not giving up. We gonna keep fighting, that's for sure.
Anything else? Thanks, Keith.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Nice day.
Thanks, Keith.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Opening statement, Coach?
Well, strange being on that side after 6 years on the other side for sure, and walking down the ramp not in red is strange, but emotional day for me, and that's why I'm very, very appreciative of my staff and my team, because we're playing very well, and we grew tonight. I thought we defended the way we needed to defend. We came in, out-rebounded them. We knew they were going to come at us. We turned it over 10 times, and we did what we did offensively. We shot the ball, and so that's, in an emotional game, that's what it is all about. And I'll say this, the thing that pleases me most is I was able to go to lunch. Coach Neal, Corey Alford, Nate Strong, Rowe. We were able to get about 15 to 20 of our former managers and players here in this area and have lunch, and that's what it's all about. And that keeps me in coaching when I see our guys, managers and players doing well, staying in this community and doing well. That meant a lot. So lunch was awesome, and it was great seeing our guys play this well. It's a big road win for us. We started slow in the season on the road. Now we've got 3, and now we go home for a very big game Saturday against Fresno.
Coach, what did you literally do defensively to prevent them from scoring like they wanted to?
Well, I thought the first half we did a very good job on the backboard. We were up 10, I think, at half on the backboard, and then we got a little sloppy about 10 minutes into the second half with the backboard. But we really tried and take a lot of the pain away. And we even said at halftime that, they'd made, I can't remember, maybe 6 threes at half. But we wanted to keep shooting threes. I thought anybody that gets in a game of shooting threes with us, I like, because we do it so well. And so we were just trying to get them not to be concentrated on the basket and the paint, because I think they're really good there. We kept them off the free throw line. It was a game where we got to the free throw line more than they did, and I thought that was going to be a big key. So it wasn't really any secret defensively as much as just kind of how we wanted the game to go as far as the shots they took.
Steve, until you actually come down that ramp, I know there had to be at least a little bit of a wonder about what the reaction would be, how the feeling would be. So 2 questions. One is, how did it feel coming down that ramp, and was that reaction from the fans what you thought would happen?
Coming down the ramp that was an odd feeling, because it's the first time Coach Neal and I had come down that ramp as an opponent, and when you are blessed to be here for 6 years like I was, and Coach Neal for 10, you understand what that pit is, and you have a great appreciation for it. So whether it was booing, whether it was going to be any ovation, I expected it to be loud. I expected it to be pro Lobo Red. That's why we loved it here, and that's why we still love and admire this place. And I told you I pull for them unless I'm playing against them. I mean, I got 3 guys on their staff that it worked for me. So, I expected that. I don't even know if there was an expectation as much as that's what that pit is. The pit shouldn't be quiet. The pit shouldn't be doing standing ovations or clapping for the opposing coach, no matter who it was. I was here for 6 years. I never saw that happen. So it's what makes the pit. It's what makes the pit very, very special. So, hopefully there's some people that appreciate what we did. We won 6 championships in 6 years. If you count Coach Neal's 4 years here, in 10 years we won 7. There's not probably been a lot of 10-year runs where 7 championships were won. Changed an academic culture. Did a lot of things that we're very, very proud of in our tenure here. Saw Doc Smedley this morning for breakfast, which was terrific, and he had an awful lot to do with that. And so we appreciate our time here, and still to this day, love the Albuquerque area. We got family here. Both sons married Albuquerque girls, and so we got family here in Albuquerque, and love getting back here. I'd still rather not have to play here, just because it's hard, because I root for New Mexico every game other than when we're playing them, and so that part of it makes it hard. But it's just part of the crazy business that I'm in, unfortunately.
Steve, did it looked a little like there were some nerves on the court, like almost like a tournament game or something. How did you downplay it with your players, because they obviously were aware?
Yeah, I tried not to say anything, and I really leaned on my staff, and I even went to my staff outside of Noodles, because Noodles and I we were so invested here, and it was going to be hard on us regardless, because and I was thinking about him too, because We were so invested here, and so I went to, Corey A, Corey B, Bill, Aubrey, Matt, our strength coach, and just, wanted them to make sure guys are calm and doing what they got to do. And I thought our guys played with, we talked all week about, we had 6 days to get ready, and we talked about composure. And there was only 3 guys that had played in the pit, and I don't know if, Lindsay hadn't played much in here. Jazz played a little bit last year, and Niz hardly played. So it's the only guys that even played in the pit. And I thought our young guys did a good job tonight. So we just tried to downplay that and say, hey, this is another road opportunity. We've only won 2 on the road in league play. We need to get to 3 or 4 road wins to put ourselves in a situation where we're not playing on the first day. So I just thought the guys played with an awful lot of composure. Every run that they threw at us, I thought our guys did a great job answering.
How do you like your team right now? Are you
Well, I like
getting
them
to be tournament
because they're
ready?
growing. They're growing. They're getting better. We've won 4 in a row in this league, and not a lot of teams have had a 4-game winning streak outside of San Diego State. So, I think we're playing our best basketball as we start to close the season. Well, we got Fresno, a huge game against Fresno at home, and then next week we're at Wyoming for senior night. And tonight, our guys had to experience the pit for the first time, really for the whole team. And when we get to Laramie, I'm like, you're going to experience senior night for the first time because it's different. And then we got San Diego State to close. So we just want to keep playing good basketball. I think we're learning. The guys have been great buying into our culture and how we do things. And so we're seeing growth. And if you can see growth late in February, you feel pretty good as a coach.
Coach, you talked about how it was what it was like getting on the court. What was it like getting off the court after the game, shaking the hands and just moving on from this game?
Yeah, it's bittersweet both ways, because obviously you want to win a game. I'm a competitor, so I want to win games, and but it's odd. I've won an awful lot of games on this court sitting on the other bench, and now I win a game sitting on the other bench. So it's it's just an odd feeling, but the competitive juices tell you, hey, you're in this. And we got Boise, Colorado State, Utah State. We got some teams that are battling for us for those top seeds. And so we win at UNLV, then UNLV wins here. So it's big. We needed to come in here and get a win. Colorado State goes on a 15-0 run to win at Wyoming. So it was big that we held serve and got us a win because we were on a bye week on Saturday. So, you appreciate the win, but it's still bittersweet because when you invest 6 years in a place that you wanted an environment like this and to create this, it's still a tough situation.
Steve, you said the pit is so hard to play, but in particular, they make a little bit of a run there in the second half, get back with an 8, the place erupts, and then your team is able to kind of close out. Does that show growth for you that they were able to take that?
Yeah, because as you know, we've had that. We played a really good first half at San Diego State in front of a sold-out place. And then we didn't play very well in the second half. Utah State, same thing, one good half and a bad half. Colorado State, we played well enough, but didn't defend. And now we've had 2 straight road games where we've put together 45 minutes at UNLV and 40 minutes tonight of playing high-level basketball and in very good environments. Because the places I just mentioned have very, very good environments. And we got the majority of our team, 80% of our team, have not been in here, have not been at San Diego State, have not been at UNLV. And so to come in here and win after winning at UNLV's growth, because I've seen enough young players that you win at UNLV and then you excel and you get beat the next one. And so for us to win there and then come here and win, that was huge.
Steve, you always call Craig your offensive coordinator when you're here. Seemed like tonight he was able to dial something when you really needed a basket. Seemed like
he's my guy. He's my guy. I've been with him. I think Dwayne Broussard's been with me 11, and now he's at TCU having a blast being back in Texas. And Craig and I have been together now for 10, and I just trust those guys. I trusted Dwayne and Noodles. I've known since 3rd grade, so I trust that guy like nobody else, and I think he's terrific. I think he is. I wouldn't want to have any other right-hand guy. I trust him. If I got to go recruiting, I leave him home. Because he's going to take care of things that need to be taken care of. So the guys got, like we had here, the guys at Nevada know they got 2 guys that played the game at a high level first, and now we've coached the game at a high level and had a lot of success doing it. And Noodles is extremely good at what he does, and awfully happy we got him on our staff.
We've talked about before Mountain West Media Day, but doing all that, winning this game, coming here to the pit, how was it to have a guy that has done it too, having someone to lean off of during the game, even Noodles?
Yeah, and I kept making him stand up because I started getting lightheaded. You know, so, and I'm sure just from the anxiousness and just the emotion that I had, and so a couple of times during the game, we weren't even talking basketball. It was just like, hey, come here. Let's just hang out here. Let's take all this in, hang out, and you know, see what our next move's going to be. But obviously, having him, you know, is huge for me, and I think likewise with him. It's, you know, we, you know, having a shoot around this morning, and you know, telling the TV people from ESPN doing the game that, you know, we were here when fans were using porta potties. You know, when we were outside, when we played through the winter of construction. Nobody thought the suites would even work, and before we left here, I think whether it's 40 or 44, I can't remember, all of them were sold out. You know, so it's just a special place, special memory, and a lot of memories. And then today at lunch, just brought all that back with our former players and managers, and to see how successful they're doing. That was a lot of fun. That's really why you're in this thing.
How did you feel about the reception Coach Knight got at Indiana coming back after 20 years?
Well, I loved it, and unfortunately I couldn't get back. I called him the day before and told him to have fun, and really appreciate it. I know Randy Whitman, who was on the 80 team, the Big Ten team that they were honoring, had a lot to do with the players, the former players, getting that set up and organized. So it's long overdue, and 20 years after going back of what he not only changed things at Indiana University, I think he changed things in that state. You know, he taught everybody about motion offense and man-to-man defense, and you got high school coaches to this day still trying to do those two things in the state of Indiana. So he had as much to do with what Indiana basketball is today than anybody, and I was very blessed to have a chance to play for him.
How often do you talk to him?
About every other month, probably. We're on the phone, and you know, I'm glad he's back in Bloomington, because he's with a lot of people. A lot of former players are back there that can help Karen and help him. He's got people. I know he's been up to see Steve Downing, who was a former player, who's the AD at Marion, and been at a Pacer game. He's now been to an Indiana game, and you know, so I think he's enjoying being back in a state that appreciates what he meant to them for 20+ years.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. Appreciate it.